Did you know that in just 3 seconds, a person forms 11 judgments about you? But here's the terrifying truth. Most people don't mean what they say. Behind their words lies a completely different reality. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher who unveiled the darkest corners of the human mind, discovered 7 psychological truths that can help you read anyone instantly. Before this video ends, you'll know how to decode every word, every silence, even every smile to understand the real intention behind them. But be warned, this knowledge will change how you see the world forever. In 1886, Nietzsche wrote a sentence that shook the foundations of psychology. It's not what people say, but why they say it that reveals the truth. The first psychological truth is about hidden motives. Every human action, every conversation, every gesture carries a hidden agenda. When someone compliments you excessively, Nietzsche would ask, what are they really after? When a colleague constantly talks about their achievements, what insecurity are they masking? Nietzsche understood that humans rarely act from pure intention. We are driven by deep, often unconscious needs for power, validation, and survival. The next time someone speaks to you, don't just listen to their words. Ask yourself, what do they want me to believe? What are they trying to gain? The person who talks about how honest they are is often the one hiding the most. The person who constantly emphasizes their kindness might be the most manipulative. Nietzsche taught us that true character reveals itself not in what people claim to be, but in the small, unguarded moments when their mask slips. The second truth is the power of resentment. Nietzsche called it ressentiment, a French word that captures something deeper than simple anger. It's the poisonous feeling that festers in people who feel powerless. Watch how people react to other success. Do they genuinely celebrate, or does their smile seem forced? Do their congratulations come with subtle jabs or comparisons? Nietzsche observed that resentful people cannot stand seeing others happy or successful because it reminds them of their own perceived failures. They disguise their bitterness as concern, criticism as care, and jealousy as justice. You can read a person instantly by noticing how they speak about those who have what they want. If someone constantly finds faults in successful people, pointing out how they don't deserve it or got lucky, you're witnessing resentment in action. These individuals will smile at you while secretly hoping you fail. Nietzsche warned that resentful people are dangerous because they operate from a place of hidden malice, often unaware of their own toxic patterns. The third psychological truth revolves around the will to power. This is perhaps Nietzsche's most famous concept. Every human being has an innate drive to assert themselves, to feel significant, to have influence. But here's what most people miss. This drive manifests differently in different people. Some pursue obvious power through wealth, status, or authority. Others seek power through victimhood, making themselves the center of attention through suffering. Some people dominate conversations, interrupt constantly, and always have the final word because they need to feel superior. Others play the martyr, constantly sacrificing themselves and reminding everyone of it, because that gives them moral authority and control. To read someone instantly, identify how they seek power. The person who always plays the victim is exercising power by making you feel guilty. The person who constantly gives unsolicited advice is asserting dominance by positioning themselves as superior. The person who talks over you isn't just rude, they're desperately trying to establish their significance. Once you recognize someone's power strategy, you can predict their behavior with stunning accuracy. The fourth truth is about masks and personas. Nietzsche famously said, "Every profound spirit needs a mask." We all wear masks, different versions of ourselves for different situations. But here's the key. The more someone insists they're completely authentic and have no filter, the thicker their mask usually is. Genuine people don't need to constantly announce their genuineness. Watch for the gaps between someone's public persona and their private behavior. Notice how they treat people who can't benefit them, like waiters, janitors, or subordinates. The person who is charming to their boss but dismissive to the receptionist has revealed their true character. Pay attention to what people do when they think no one important is watching. Nietzsche understood that we can only sustain masks for so long. Under stress, fatigue, or alcohol, the mask slips and the real person emerges. The colleague who seems perpetually positive might explode in anger when a small thing goes wrong, revealing the pressure they've been suppressing. The friend who acts carefree might make a bitter comment that exposes their underlying unhappiness. The fifth psychological truth concerns herd mentality. Nietzsche was deeply concerned with how people surrender their individuality to belong to the crowd. Most people, he observed, think they're independent thinkers when they're actually just echoing popular opinions. You can read someone instantly by noticing how quickly they adopt trending viewpoints without critical examination. Do they have genuine convictions, or do they simply mirror whatever their social group believes? The person who constantly seeks validation through social media, who changes their opinions based on likes and comments, who panics when their views aren't popular, this person has no solid core. They're driven entirely by the need for approval. Nietzsche taught us to respect those who stand alone, who are willing to be misunderstood, who don't need constant affirmation. These are rare individuals with genuine depth. The person who can comfortably disagree with the group, who doesn't need to be liked by everyone, who maintains their principles under social pressure, this is someone worth knowing. The sixth truth is about suffering and how people respond to it. Nietzsche, who endured tremendous physical and mental anguish throughout his life, understood that suffering reveals character like nothing else. When someone faces hardship, do they grow bitter or stronger? Do they blame everyone else or take responsibility? Do they collapse into self-pity or find meaning in their struggle? Some people turn their suffering into an identity, constantly reminding others of their pain, using it as an excuse for bad behavior or a tool for manipulation. Others suffer silently, transform their pain into wisdom, and emerge more compassionate. You can read a person's depth by observing how they handle adversity. The person who faces setbacks with grace, who doesn't need to broadcast their struggles, who finds lessons in failure, this person has genuine strength. Conversely, the person who crumbles at minor inconveniences, who needs constant sympathy, who turns every difficulty into a dramatic crisis, this person hasn't developed resilience. Nietzsche believed that those who say yes to life despite its suffering are the truly noble souls. The seventh and final psychological truth is about self-deception. Nietzsche wrote, "The most common form of human stupidity is forgetting what one is trying to do." Most people lie to themselves more than they lie to others. They create elaborate narratives to justify their actions, avoid uncomfortable truths about themselves, and maintain comforting illusions. You can read someone by noticing the gap between their stated values and their actual behavior. The person who constantly talks about loyalty but gossips behind everyone's back. The person who claims to value health but makes consistently destructive choices. The person who says family is everything but never makes time for them. These contradictions reveal self-deception. Nietzsche taught that genuine self-awareness is rare and painful. It requires looking at yourself without the comfortable lies most people use to sleep at night. The person who can admit their flaws without shame, who acknowledges their contradictions, who doesn't pretend to be better than they are, this person has achieved something most never will: honest self-knowledge. So now you possess Nietzsche's 7 psychological truths. You can see through the masks people wear, understand the hidden motives behind their words, recognize the resentment they disguise as concern, identify how they seek power, spot their self-deceptions, and measure their character by how they handle suffering and social pressure. But remember what Nietzsche warned: when you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. The more you understand others, the more you must face the uncomfortable truths about yourself. Are you ready to see the world and yourself with such clarity? Because once you truly see, you can never unsee. The question isn't whether you can read people instantly anymore. The question is, can you handle what you discover?